there is a weight you carry that you cannot see. It accumulates in silence, threading itself through your days like an invisible chain connecting who you were to who you're trying to become. Most will transfer this burden into another year without ever knowing they had the power to release it. The ancients understood something we've forgotten in our rush toward the future, that thresholds hold tremendous power, that endings are not merely calendar dates but portals through which consciousness can slip from one state into another. We stand now at such a threshold. The year is dying, and with it, the opportunity to prevent the patterns of your past from colonizing your future. Before we continue, I want you to know about something that could transform your journey of manifestation. We've created a free book called Formula Baraka that distills the core principles of energetic mastery and conscious creation. It's completely free, though if it serves you, donations to support this channel are always welcome. You'll find the link waiting for you in the description below. The body remembers everything, while your conscious mind may forget the arguments, the betrayals, the moments when you betrayed yourself. Your nervous system archives every unresolved emotion, every unexpressed scream, every swallowed grief. The shamans called this energetic debt, that accumulation of unfinished business that weighs upon the soul like stones in a river. Modern neuroscience has simply given us new language for ancient wisdom. Trauma physiologist Peter Levine discovered what indigenous healers knew for millennia, that when we experience overwhelming events, our bodies prepare massive amounts of energy for fight or flight. Yet if we cannot complete these responses, that energy becomes trapped, frozen in muscle memory, locked in the nervous system's deep architecture, creating patterns that repeat themselves with the precision of a recurring dream. Your tight shoulders are not merely tense muscles. They are guardians holding the accumulated stress of 1,000 small defeats. Your shallow breathing is not just poor habit. It's a nervous system still bracing against dangers long past. Consider the nature of time itself. We imagine it flowing in a straight line from past through present into future. Yet consciousness does not experience time this way. The traumatic moment from 5 years ago lives in your body as if it happened this morning. The criticism from a parent decades gone still shapes how you interpret every glance, every tone of voice. We are walking libraries of unintegrated experience, and at year's end, this library prepares to migrate wholesale into the next chapter unless we intervene. The year-end threshold is not arbitrary. Ancient cultures worldwide recognized certain temporal thresholds as thin places, moments when the veil between what was and what could be grows permeable. The Celts called it Samhain. The Hindus recognized Diwali as the transition from darkness into light. These are not mere celebrations, but recognition of a metaphysical truth. Consciousness becomes more malleable at boundaries, more susceptible to intentional transformation, when one state gives way to another. Psychologists speak of liminality, that in-between space where old structures have dissolved, but new ones have not yet solidified. Standing in such a space feels disorienting precisely because it holds such tremendous potential. You are not the person you were in January. Neither are you yet the person you will become. This ambiguity, this standing at the threshold with one foot in the dying year and one foot poised to step forward, creates a unique opportunity for release that will not come again until the cycle turns once more. What is energetic debt? Imagine that every unresolved conflict, every suppressed emotion, every moment of betrayal or rage or grief that you pushed down rather than processed creates a kind of promissory note. These notes accumulate, they compound. They create patterns in your energy field that attract similar experiences, not because the universe is punishing you, but because consciousness seeks completion. The psyche, in its wisdom, will recreate scenarios that echo your wounds until those wounds are finally acknowledged, felt, and released. This is not karma as punishment. It is consciousness attempting to heal itself by bringing the unfinished into awareness again and again, each time offering another chance for integration. You wonder why the same relationship dynamics repeat themselves with different partners. Why certain financial patterns persist despite your best intentions. Why you sabotage yourself at the edge of breakthrough. These are not character flaws. They are uncleared energetic debts manifesting as behavioral patterns, the body's way of saying there is something here that still needs to be witnessed, something that has not yet been allowed to complete its journey through your nervous system. The Vietnamese Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh taught that we are not merely individuals, but a continuation of our ancestors. Their unresolved traumas live in us, encoded in the very structure of our nervous systems, passed down through generations like a spiritual inheritance we never asked for. You carry not only your own wounds, but the unexpressed grief of your lineage. Gao, year-end threshold offers a chance to say enough, to become the one who breaks the chain, who refuses to pass these patterns forward into another year, into another generation. The clearing technique itself is deceptively simple, which is why most will overlook it in favor of more complex rituals. Complexity often serves the ego's need to feel it is doing something important. True transformation frequently arrives through radical simplicity. Find yourself alone as the year draws to close, in a space where you will not be disturbed. This work requires solitude, for in the presence of others, we automatically activate our social masks, the performed versions of self that hide what we actually carry. Light a candle if you wish. Burn sage or Palo Santo if that ritual speaks to you. But understand these are merely tools to signal to your unconscious that something sacred is about to occur. The real work happens in the body, in the willingness to feel what you have spent the year avoiding. Begin with your breath, but not the shallow breathing of everyday life. Place one hand on your belly and one on your heart. Breathe deeply enough that your belly rises first, then your chest. This is not merely relaxation. You are signaling to your nervous system that it is safe to release the survival patterns it has been holding. The breath is a bridge between conscious and unconscious, between mind and body. When you breathe from your diaphragm, you activate the vagus nerve, that wandering nerve that connects brain to body and regulates your capacity to rest, to digest, to heal. As you breathe, scan your body with your attention. Where do you notice tension? Where does your awareness want to skip over, to move past quickly? These are the territories where energetic debt has accumulated. The tight jaw holding back words you never spoke. The clenched stomach protecting against vulnerability you could not afford to show. The collapsed chest, guarding a heart that learned too early to expect disappointment. Place your attention on these places and breathe into them, not to fix them, not to make them different, but to simply acknowledge them. This is the essence of somatic release, to witness the body's holding patterns without trying to force them away. The body stores trauma through contraction, through tightening against what felt unbearable. Release happens not through more force but through presence, through finally giving these held places permission to be felt. As you breathe into these territories, allow whatever arises to arise. Perhaps tears come, perhaps rage surfaces or grief, or a sorrow so old you can barely name it. Do not try to understand these feelings. Do not make them mean anything. Simply let them move through you like weather passing through an open sky. The feeling that you resist, the emotion you push back down, that is where energetic debt compounds. The feeling you allow to complete itself, to rise and peak and naturally subside, that is where clearing happens. The ancient Hawaiian practice of Ho'oponopono offers a mantra for this work. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. These simple words, repeated while breathing into your body's held places, create a field of forgiveness that includes not only others, but yourself. For you too have been exiled from your own wholeness by the judgments you've carried, the ways you've made yourself wrong, for having needs, for feeling too much, for being human in a world that demanded you be invulnerable. Speak these words to your body, to the younger versions of yourself still frozen in moments of pain, to the ancestors whose unresolved grief you've been carrying without knowing it. The forgiveness practice is not about condoning harm or spiritual bypassing. It is about releasing the energetic hooks that keep you bound to past events, about withdrawing your life force from the endless repetition of old storylines. If specific relationships or events arise during this practice, you may find it useful to perform a cord-cutting ritual. In shamanic traditions, cords represent energetic attachments between people, places, or experiences. Not all cords need cutting. Those formed in love and mutual respect nourish rather than drain. But toxic cords, forged in dysfunction or trauma, act like energetic cables through which your power continuously leaks away. Visualize the cord connecting you to whatever or whoever appears in your awareness. See it clearly. Then, with your next exhale, visualize cutting this cord with a blade of light. As you do, speak aloud. I set you free. I set myself free. This is complete. Feel the relief in your body as the energetic weight lifts. Know that cutting a cord does not require the other person's participation or permission. This is sovereignty work, reclaiming your right to determine what you carry and what you release. For those carrying ancestral patterns, and we all do, there is a deeper layer to this work. Our lineages gift us many things, but they also pass down their unresolved traumas, their unconscious beliefs, their strategies for survival that may have worked for them but do not serve our evolution. To clear ancestral energetic debt, you must go deeper than your personal history. As you breathe and scan your body, ask, what am I carrying that was never mine to carry? What pattern am I repeating that did not originate with me? When you sense the answer, when you feel that resonance in your body, you can speak directly to your lineage. I honor what you endured. I honor your survival. And now I release what no longer serves. I am the one who breaks the chain. I reclaim my birthright to live unburdened by what came before me. This is not disrespect. This is evolution. This is how lineages heal. When one person finally says enough, when one person chooses consciousness over repetition, the timing of this work matters. Perform this clearing in the final days of the year, ideally on the eve of the transition itself. Why? Because consciousness is more plastic at thresholds. The dying year loosens its grip on your identity. The new year has not yet solidified its patterns. In this liminal space, this in-between place that belongs fully to neither what was nor what will be, transformation requires less force. You are standing at a crossroads where one path leads to repetition, to carrying your accumulated patterns forward into another cycle. The other path leads to integration, to entering the new year with your energy reclaimed, your nervous system reset, your field cleared of the debris that has been weighing you down. Most people will choose the first path without realizing they had a choice. They will wake on the first day of the new year carrying everything they carried on the last day of the old year. Nothing will change, because nothing was released. The same arguments will arise with the same people because the energetic signature that attracted those dynamics remains unchanged. The same self-sabotage will appear at the same thresholds because the nervous system is still running programs installed in moments of overwhelm that were never given permission to complete. But you who are listening now, you have the knowledge that creates choice. You understand that energetic debt is not metaphysical punishment but accumulated holding, unfinished business calling out for completion. You know that your body is not an obstacle to transcendence, but the very instrument through which consciousness releases what it no longer needs to carry. You recognize that the year-end threshold is not arbitrary but potent, a moment when the universe itself seems to pause, to take a breath between what was and what will be. After you have performed the clearing, after you have breathed into your held places and allowed the feelings to move, after you have cut cords and released ancestral patterns, there is one final step that seals the work. You must consciously state your intention to enter the new year with a clean slate. This is not mere positive thinking. This is programming your subconscious, informing your nervous system that the patterns of the past no longer govern your present. Speak it aloud, for sound carries power. I release all energetic debt accumulated in this year. I enter the new year with my field cleared, my nervous system reset, my consciousness free from patterns that no longer serve my evolution. I reclaim my sovereignty. I reclaim my life force. I choose freedom. The days following this clearing may feel strange. You might experience unusual dreams as your unconscious processes the release. You may feel lighter, as if a weight you'd grown so accustomed to carrying that you'd forgotten it was there has suddenly been lifted. Or you may initially feel worse as the nervous system adjusts to the absence of familiar patterns, even when those patterns were painful. This is normal. This is the body recalibrating, finding its new baseline. Give yourself grace in this transition. Drink water, move your body, be in nature if you can. These simple acts support your nervous system as it integrates the clearing. Understand that this practice is not a one-time event, but a skill you are developing. The more you learn to release energetic debt consciously, the less it accumulates. The more you practice coming into your body, feeling your feelings fully, allowing them to complete their journey through your nervous system, the less you carry into each new day, each new year, each new chapter of your becoming. This is how consciousness evolves, not through transcending the body, but through finally learning to inhabit it fully, through becoming present enough to feel what needs to be felt so it can finally be released. The mystics have always known what neuroscience is now confirming. We are not separate from our bodies, and our bodies are not separate from the field of consciousness in which all experience arises. The energetic debt you carry distorts this field, creates interference patterns that block the natural flow of life force through you. Clear the debt, and you restore the flow. Restore the flow, and manifestation becomes not something you force, but something that happens through you as naturally as a river finding its way to the sea. As we approach the threshold of a new year, know that you stand at a choice point. You can cross this threshold carrying everything you've accumulated, every wound and grievance and pattern of the past year, allowing them to set up residence in your future. Or you can stop at the threshold, turn toward what you've been carrying, finally give it the attention it has been asking for, and release it back into the void from which all patterns arise and to which they eventually return. The new year will come regardless. The question is, who will you be when it arrives? Will you be the sum of your accumulated patterns, the walking embodiment of unresolved history? Or will you be spacious, clear, available to receive what the future wants to bring through you? This is not a small question. This is the question upon which your entire trajectory depends. Choose wisely. Choose consciously. Choose freedom.